Hey everybody! Welcome to the Turtle and the Bear podcast. I'm Turtle.
And I'm Bear, and today we're going to be talking about BPD.
What is BPD?
So, BPD stands for Borderline Personality Disorder. It's a mental illness that often makes your moods very unstable, can cause you to act recklessly, and also have a hard time managing your emotions consistently.
Some symptoms often include fear of abandonment.
So you're scared that people are going to leave you, even though they won't. Like, there's no reason for that fear, but it's there.
Yeah. Unstable relationships.
You often choose very toxic relationships. I don't know why. I personally don't have that problem, thankfully. I'm in a solid 9-year relationship. But yeah, it's often unstable, as in, like, your mood swings affect the relationship so bad that it becomes, you either aren't in a relationship very long or you're in a very, very bad relationship.
Okay. Unclear or shifting self-image.
So you can go from loving your body, loving yourself, feeling all 100% to absolutely hating the way you look within seconds. And that will...
I've felt that, and I don't even have BPD.
That is also an ADHD thing, I think. But yeah, that can go so quickly. It also, within women, that helps. That happens throughout the month on your cycle.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a drastic, because it's not just, oh, I don't like myself, I don't like how I look. It's, I'm so ugly, I feel like a disgusting blob, and I want to die. It's such a drastic thing.
Okay. Impulsive, self-destructive behaviors.
Okay, so impulsive and self-destructive behaviors are anything from doing something you know you shouldn't and it'll get you in trouble, just so you can get into the trouble.
For the attention.
Just for the attention.
I'm assuming. And like that rush of dopamine.
That rush that you're, getting into trouble. It's kind of like self-harm, which I know is another symptom.
Yeah.
It's kind of a version of self-harming, I guess, because you're tearing yourself down. You're doing stuff you shouldn't do because you're trying to hurt your mental health more.
Yeah. Self-harm.
Yeah. So self-harm varies from cutting yourself, burning yourself. I personally, I have acrylic or gel nails on, and I pick them off because it hurts. And that is my version of self-harm.
Which I have scolded her for on multiple occasions.
My whole family has, but it doesn't leave scars that people can question.
That's true. Extreme emotional mood swings.
Okay. So when I was first diagnosed, I didn't realize that these emotional mood swings were not normal. I thought they were just based off of your menstrual cycle, because we go through different phases. And when my psychiatrist said that, she's like, oh yeah, this is why this is happening. This is BPD. And I'm like, oh. So you go from having like a best amazing day, and then all of a sudden 180, you're so grumpy. You hate someone breathing the wrong way. And Chicken, unfortunately, has had to deal with that, and my mom has been amazing with it. She'll ask if something's wrong because she can see if something's bugging me. And I'll be like, no, it's just, now I say it's just BPD. Switch. But yeah, that's huge mood swings.
Chronic feelings of emptiness.
So because your emotions are all over the place, you don't get to actually feel the emotions like a normal person. So you just end up feeling empty inside forever. It's fun.
And the last on the list of symptoms, but not least, explosive anger.
Yes. So you will most often get physically violent.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So BPD is kind of like autism, where it's on a spectrum. So you can you can be very physically violent. Some psychologists and psychiatrists actually will not deal with BPD patients.
I have heard that.
Because it's so dangerous.
Yeah. You're thankfully
thankfully not, because I guess I was raised a little bit with integrity kind of thing. And it's not not integrity, but I was raised to be respectful, and I can't get that out of my head and say, hey, I'm just gonna hit you because I'm mad at you.
Yeah.
I do have violent tendencies, but I know I'm not supposed to act on them.
And that's good.
Yeah, but there are people who can't control that, and they get very violent, and it's
which is unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Yeah. But like again, it's going from having a good day to all of a sudden your hair is making you want to rip it out of your head, and you will do that. Oh, boy. People will do that.
Oh my!
Because it's making them so angry.
How does BPD develop? Like, is it genetic or?
Okay, so yeah, BPD, I just found out today when we were doing a little bit of research that BPD can be genetically passed. So if your family has a history of mental health problems or BPD specific, it can be passed down to you. But most of the time it's caused by when you're early childhood, you're developing your emotional regulators. Yeah. Something traumatic happens and you are either in an abusive situation, a very stressful, consistent situation where it's not healthy. Yeah. You don't get to develop those emotional regulators, and so you end up having these violent flips of emotions and moods, and it sucks. But it is what it is.
When did you get diagnosed with BPD?
So I got diagnosed actually in 2024.
So not too long ago.
Like late spring, early summer.
It must have been around the same time that I got diagnosed with ADHD.
Actually, it was. Yeah, it was right around the same time.
I think I remember that too.
I think it was a little bit before you were diagnosed with ADHD. I was diagnosed. I've been to a psychiatrist before I moved back here. And I asked my current psychiatrist, I'm like, how did my old psychiatrist not catch this? It's because BPD can often resemble other problems. So like ADHD, it can come off as ADHD too.
But you definitely have ADHD.
I have ADHD. Yes, definitely. But I do have BPD. It also is a very common associate with PTSD, which we will be talking about later. And then I was diagnosed, and all of a sudden things started to become clear. Like I said, the mood swings, apparently not common. Didn't know that.
Not normal.
I would just get irritable out of nowhere, and I'm just like, just leave me alone. I don't want to be around anybody. And my mom would be very worried about me. She'd be like, are you okay? And I'm like, Mom, just go away. I cannot handle you right now. And she's like, did I do something wrong? And I'm like, no. So now I know that. I know that as BPD. So like I said, now I just tell her, I'm like, I'm just having a BPD swing. I will, I'll get over it.
It's easier to kind of explain to people once you actually know.
Once you know what's going on inside your head, yeah, absolutely. It's easier to figure out.
What's underneath the rock.
Yeah, exactly. Patrick Starr's underneath the rock.
How are you like affected by it? Like what went on in your mind when you got the diagnosis?
It was kind of a light bulb situation actually, because like it was, she explained it to me, like a little bit of the spectrum and where I was on the spectrum. And she explained that these mood swings are not normal and that they can be treated, and it's like so I did some research on it on my way home from the psychiatrist, and I was like, okay, these make sense. These symptoms, like the mood swings, just make sense. It's just like kind of with you and ADHD or you and autism. It just all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is why. And I had a lot of that. I was a couple months of that was like, oh right. It took me a while to realize that my mood swings, like all of a sudden I'd get irritable, and I'd be like, oh, okay. Took me a long time to say, hey, this is a BPD thing. I need to just take a second.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So medications. Which ones have you tried? Which ones work?
I was not lucky like you with ADHD. I didn't take well to my first medication that I had. I was diagnosed aripiprazole for the first time.
Okay.
And it made me worse. It made me angry.
That's not good.
Even more of a drop of a hat.
That's not good at all.
And so I did the appropriate thing, and I talked to my psychiatrist, which is nothing to be ashamed about.
No.
We've talked about this before. If you think it's not working, don't feel ashamed.
And don't wait longer.
Yeah, please don't wait longer, especially with BPD, because that can get very bad very quickly.
Especially if there's bad side effects with withdrawal.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm on another medication that if I have to go through stages of going off of that.
Because of how?
If I were to change it.
Because of the high dosage you're on?
Yeah, because I'm on such a high dose.
Okay.
But yeah, now I'm on lurasidone. Yeah. Sorry.
Big names.
Big names. I'm on lurasidone. There's another med called lorazepam. That's a different medication.
Mm-hmm.
I have that too.
Oh.
But that has seemed to work for me so far. I think I might talk to my medication. No.
You might talk to your medication.
Yeah, I might talk to my medication.
How does that go?
If you're talking to your medication, you need to go to the 4th floor. Oh boy. No, I think I'm going to talk to my psychiatrist. I have an appointment coming up, and I'm going to see if I can possibly go up a couple milligrams.
Okay.
Because right now I think I'm on 2,
mm-hmm.
and it can go 2 and then 4. So I think I'm going to talk to her because I've noticed I've started getting like anxious a lot, like struggling with my anxiety a lot lately.
Okay.
Which it worked at the start, but if your body builds up the tolerance.
Well, and at the start, it's a brand new thing to the body.
So I know it works because my nails are growing, which is amazing. But I've noticed I've started picking at my nails again, which is not good. So I'm probably going to talk to her about that.
Yeah. What do you do daily to just help cope with like the side effects of BPD?
Okay, so that kind of goes along the lines of what it's like to live with BPD.
Mm-hmm.
So coping, you need to make sure you get a lot of sleep. You need to make sure you get enough sleep, which sucks because insomnia is one of the side effect symptom things.
I know we didn't list that, but it is a side effect.
But going to your therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist regularly is quite recommended.
Yeah.
And then also taking your medication. Even if you feel like they're working, like you feel like you don't need them, that's because they're working. Take them. There is someone in our life who stopped taking their medication against their doctor's recommendation, and it just makes me want to hurt them. You keep track of the triggers. So like if you notice something actively triggers you, or someone
whether it
actively
be a
triggers
food
you,
or a scent or a
sound person, you keep track of those triggers.
Yeah.
So you can stay away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't use recreational drugs or alcohol. I know that sounds so stupid and so parent of that, but it basically, recreational drugs and alcohol lower your inhibitions, lower your judgment, and make it worse. Because you're like, your brain can't be like, hey, this is not okay. So your mood swings are even worse. You're making more poorly decisions, you're making a lot more poor decisions. English, I don't know what that is today.
Love it.
And then just you can have a healthy diet. I haven't really noticed any difference. It says you recommended healthy diet and exercise. I can't do that because of other decisions.
You have the allergy to certain.
Yeah, I can't do that because I have other health problems. So I can't exercise and I can't eat healthfully, regularly, like properly, I guess. I don't know what English is today.
Yep. So I know you've mentioned your family a couple times. How have they changed? Like, have they done anything to help you?
They're more understanding of my mood swings. I mean, my mom just associated that with me being who I am.
Okay.
So, she's just like, I don't want you to start using BPD as an excuse as to your actions. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I will never do that. People who do that are assholes. And then she's like, I just don't want you to rely on this as like a crutch kind of thing and say, hey, this is, it's just a BPD thing.
Yeah.
But there are the mood swings, like when I get crazily irritable, I can't help it. And as long as you're communicating and talking about it, it's awesome.
Yeah.
The rest of my family, they haven't really changed anything because you don't need to. When you grow up with BPD and then you're diagnosed as late as I was, it's everybody just associates you with being that. That's your personality. That's who you are.
Yeah.
Right. So there's not much of a, change, I guess. It's just you notice the mood swings aren't as severe. So you're used to a normal emotional state for longer, I guess. I don't know. What's it like?
I haven't really. It's just you.
Exactly. Like, that's the thing is, like, it's just me. That's who I am.
Well, because it's been there forever.
Yeah.
Or at some point it did start to become more prominent. Obviously, it's not there from birth.
No.
Some things are
major triggers it,
but in this particular instance, something has to trigger it.
Yeah.
To change the brain chemistry to prevent things from happening in its natural fashion.
But yeah, what's it like being friends with someone with BPD? That's my question.
I don't,
because like a lot of the time when I'm here, I know my inner child is happier, so I don't have many mood swings.
I know you have told me that you kind of feel just kind of what's the word you said?
Happy.
Happy? No, I think you said because I was one of the better parts of your childhood.
Yeah, my inner child just feels safe here.
Yeah.
So I don't have the mood swings, so you don't see the mood swings. Also, you've got a lot on your plate, so I probably don't let you see the mood swings.
I try not to let you see mine too, but it's hard sometimes.
We're best friends. We shouldn't do that because, we shouldn't need to mask around each other. And it's not like masking. It's different. I know you've got a lot on your plate, and I've got a lot on my plate, so we just kind of are courteous to each other.
Here's one more question I have. Do any of your hobbies, I know we talked about hobbies last time, but what hobbies or coping mechanisms help with any kind of anger outbursts?
So we talked about it last time. Coloring is very therapeutic for me. Coloring and art themselves are definitely something that is easy for me to make myself calm down.
Okay.
If I'm in an angry state, or it's the opposite and I just want to break the pencils because they're not coloring right, or they're not I'm not drawing properly, so it's the pen's fault, right?
I felt so angry, and I think this was a couple months ago. I don't know what happened, but I felt so angry. I was grabbing a can of soup from downstairs, and I was walking up the stairs. I didn't do it, but I felt my thought, like my brain, and like through my entire body, I just felt angry. And I had this kind of flash in my mind. You know how you like see pictures sometimes of me just throwing the can of soup as hard as I can against the wall.
That would leave a soup can size hole in the wall.
I did not do it.
Drywall is not that sturdy.
I put the can down as fast as I could. But so I know it's different with the anger, but I kind of understand.
So it's different to the point where it's more volatile. It's not that like you don't have mood swings as a person. It's just it's more drastic and dramatic.
Yeah.
So
I just thought I wanted to share that incident
and times that by like 100.
I think I shared the soup can and thing with me.
You did tell me about that before, and it is still funny.
It is funny. Not that I would never do that. Actually, I hope.
I think I've done it with a beer bottle.
That's even worse.
Glass.
I think we've covered many bases. And once again, as any mental illness, it is a spectrum. And you might need to try multiple medications.
And never be ashamed of it.
No. And do not be discouraged either.
Yeah. Definitely reach out to your healthcare providers and try and make you the best possible you can be.
Yeah.
So, like, don't be ashamed about trying to better yourself.
Yeah.
You should never be ashamed of that.
And thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for hearing their story with BPD.
Woo!
We love it. Not really.
Please follow and subscribe.
Yeah, we have Instagram, Spotify, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube. All the things. We do have a Twitter. I keep forgetting to mention that. We have a Twitter.
We do have a Twitter. I know it's not as used anymore, but we do have a Twitter.
We do have it. Everything's linked on our Facebook account.
Mm-hmm.
All of the links are there if you want to go there. You can like, subscribe, do all the things, comment. If you have an episode suggestion for us in the future, if you have questions about said episodes that we talked about, please let us know. We love constructive criticism. We love questions. Mm-hmm. Anything to help out another person.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. See you next time. Bye!